of Beluga lentil cones with beef tartare, chive emulsion, and puffed buckwheat. Hi, we're back in the kitchen. My name is Arnis.
My name is Lucas.
And today we're going to show you something fun with a beef fillet. An industry-cut beef tenderloin consists of two muscles separated by silver skin. In the professional kitchen, the larger section is known as the head of the tenderloin. If the tenderloin has been properly butchered, there should be only a single layer of excess silver skin remaining on the loin section. I always start by removing the head section in my preferred way before cleaning the rest of the tenderloin. I trim off some of the excess fat, but not all of it. Fat adds flavor. That's a good eye you have there.
And here. And here.
I then remove the head and tail sections and prepare the center cut tenderloin, also known as Chateaubriand section, for beautiful steak to be used later. After proper trimming and cleaning, the head and tail sections are perfect for making beef tartare. That's exactly what we're going to do today, elevating the meat's natural tenderness and unique texture while making use of every part of the cut. So the first thing what you want is you want to cut a little bit in the angle, and you cut off the thin slice, like this. Lucas and I begin by preparing the meat for the tartare. We slice it into thin pieces, then cut those slices into strips and finally into small cubes. Yeah, that's perfect. Now you just continue the same way with another slice. And just put it on the top. Oh, that's a perfect cut there. You're doing great, buddy. This is amazing. I couldn't do better. Just don't press it too hard.
I'm not.
So put two slices, one on the top of another, and cut it into stripes, thin stripes, okay? Yeah, that's good. You're getting there. Some classic French cuisine techniques use the meat grinder for this purpose. However, modern restaurants have learned that careful knife work causes less damage to the meat, resulting into a superior texture and eating experience. Okay, to cut the chives properly, you need a sharp knife, so you need to sharpen it a little bit, okay? For 300 grams of beef, we use 1 medium shallot, finely diced, 500 grams of chopped chives, a pinch of flaky sea salt, good quality olive oil, and 10 grams roasted sesame oil, 25 gram sweet soy sauce, juice of a half fresh lime. This flavor profile adds a subtle Asian twist to this classic French dish. Once everything is in the bowl, mix gently. Avoid mashing the tartare into a paste. Instead, fold the ingredients together lightly with a spoon to preserve the texture of the meat. Beluga lentil cones. For the cone dough, combine 200 gram cooked beluga lentils, 100 milliliters cold water, blend with a hand blender until smooth and transfer into a mixing bowl. Then add 5 grams of coconut shell charcoal powder, 20 grams white miso paste, 250 grams extra fine wheat flour, salt to taste. More. Mix well, adding the flour gradually rather than all at once. Otherwise, achieving the correct dough consistency can be difficult. Okay?
They put it in?
Yes. Transfer the dough to a work surface and knead thoroughly. Dust with a little extra flour as needed to prevent sticking. And now we need to roll it very, very thin. Yes, you need some force. Roll the dough paper thin and cut out circles using a round cutter. Allow the dough to rest for a few minutes after rolling, otherwise it may shrink during the baking and affect the final result. So you take the circle, wrap each circle around a small metal cone mold and place it securely in a cone-formed tray or holder. Bake at 170 degrees Celsius for 15 to 20 minutes. The second layer. Yes, very good. So put it in here. Don't press it. Don't press it. Let it sit evenly. Okay? Okay, and now this is going to go in the oven. So now it's out of the oven. Hold it a little bit. Yes, let's see how it turned out. Once baked, leave the cones to cool in their molds for a few minutes before carefully removing them. Set aside until needed. Okay, shall we continue? Do you want to chop some onion?
No, you do it.
Okay, do you want to chop some chives?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so you need to cut it into 3 pieces. So that's gonna be 1 cut. And then 1 more cut, very good. Chive emulsion. This helps preserve their vibrant green color. To make the chives oil, begin by blanching the chives briefly and then chucking them in ice water. After removing the chives from the ice bath, Lucas carefully squeezes out excess water. This step helps produce the cleaner oil. Okay, so we have blanched our chives. So now we need to press out all of the water from them. And then we put it in the blender. And we will top it with some oil and we will make it into a green oil. That's going to be a base for our chives aioli. So if you can press out the whole water. place 150 grams blanched chives and 200 grams of neutral oil into a blender cup and blend at maximum speed for approximately 10 minutes. Once blended, strain the oil through a fine sieve lined with a cheesecloth. Do not press it though. Allow it to drip naturally through the cloth at its own pace. If the water has been properly removed from the chives, no further clarification should be necessary. Okay, so now we're going to prepare our chives emulsion. To make the emulsion, combine in a cold metal bowl 1 egg yolk, 1 tablespoon of mustard, and a pinch of salt. Whisk lightly, then slowly drizzle in the chives oil while continuously whisking. An emulsion is created through the correct balance of fat and liquid, so the amount of oil added will determine the final thickness. Yes, that's a salt. Yes, yeah.
All of it?
All of it, yes. And also a mustard. First, mix it together with a whisk. Just be confident, yes. Make sure you have all the products mixed together. Good. Okay. Very carefully.
Like this?
Yeah, but less. Okay, continue. So we can already see that our emulsion starts to firm. Transfer the emulsion to a squeeze bottle and refrigerate until needed. Look at the color. It's beautiful. So, do you know what is this?
No. Forgot the name.
So this is a buckwheat. It is a kind of the crop. It's actually very popular in Asia. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a popcorn out of it. Exactly. That's an interesting stuff, right? Shall we do it?
Yes.
Is it good?
No.
Yes, let's go. Puffed buckwheat is a simple way to elevate the texture, flavor, appearance and crispiness of the dish. You will need high quality buckwheat and hot oil heated to approximately 200 degrees Celsius. Simply drop the buckwheat into the hot oil and watch it puff within seconds. Be careful not to leave it in the oil for too long as it burns very quickly.
And the popcorn smells weird.
Strain the buckwheat from the oil, season with sea salt and allow it to cool completely before using it. Now that all the components are prepared, we can begin plating the dish. Okay, we're done.
Yes.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Which one is yours? Do you want to try it?
Yes.
I want to try it. Okay, who's gonna go first?
You.
Okay, I will try mine, okay? Very good. I think you will like it. Try it. Take a nice bite. Is it good? Mm-hmm.